Welcome back. A bit of news as we get into part one of Honda's update. First, Honda's update is broken out into a couple of parts because they don't update everything at once. Honda is huge, probably the biggest bike manufacturer in terms of the number of models. They are certainly the biggest in terms of global sales, selling far more than anyone else. They also don't update every model every year. Occasionally, we see models that are not discontinued, but aren't updated each year, so it makes it difficult to know if they're getting discontinued in the future or just put on pause. I was actually going to wait a week or two to do Honda's update to see if more updates would come out. I was going to do Husqvarna and KTM next, but KTM's in a bit of a mess right now, and I want to see what happens with them before putting out their updates. The biggest source I have been using for KTM news right now is Spite's Corner. He's been putting out regular updates on the situation. Last year, I didn't do an update for Husqvarna. I became aware of them as a bike manufacturer right after I stopped the 2024 lineup series. As I started looking into them this year, I learned some interesting facts. First, Husqvarna is the oldest bike manufacturer with uninterrupted production. Indian is the first bike manufacturer, but they have had lots of interruption in their production. I always thought Harley was next, but Husqvarna began producing bikes 3 months before Harley. The other piece of interesting information is that Husqvarna has changed hands multiple times. Without going into all that history, they are currently owned by KTM. KTM is in a major financial crisis right now. KTM owns a few different brands. MV Agusta is another brand they own, and they apparently just dumped them. So there's a lot up in the air right now with KTM, MV Agusta, Husqvarna, Gas, etc. In light of that, I'm going to wait probably for a month or two to see what happens with this situation before I do those lineup videos. So here we are with Honda. Honda has a huge number of bikes, so it's just as well to do it in multiple parts. Let's see what they have for 2025. We start with the off-road bikes as usual. The Montesa Trials bikes have not yet been updated. Onto the trail bikes, we have the same 7 models. Most of them are the same MSRP as 2024, no significant changes here. For the 2 youth bikes, we start with the CRF 50F, a 50cc automatic 3-speed, 21.6-inch seat height, and a 0.7 gallon tank. Comes in 2 colors, cost is $1,800. The CRF 110F has a 109cc automatic 4-speed, 25.9-inch seat height, 1 gallon tank, cost is still $2,700. The CRF 125F has a 125cc 4-stroke 4-speed engine, 29.1-inch seat height, and a 1 gallon tank. Regular version has a 17-inch front tire and 14-inch rear for $3,500. The big wheel has 2-inch bigger wheels, a 30.9-inch seat height, and goes for $3,900. 2 models of 250cc bikes, both have 21 and 18-inch wheels and 5-speed transmission. The CRF 250F has a 1.6 gallon tank, 34.8-inch seat height, and goes for $5,000. The CRF 250RX has upgraded suspension, a 2.1 gallon tank, 37.7-inch seat height, and goes for $8,700. 2 models of 450cc bikes, both have 21 and 18-inch wheels and 2 gallon tanks. The CRF 450X is a 6-speed with 37.9-inch seat height and goes for $10,000. This is the one trail bike with a price change up $100 from last year. The 450RX is a 5-speed with a 37.7-inch seat height, also goes for $10,000, same as last year. Moving on to the motocross bikes, a couple of changes here. We start with the CRF 150R and the CRF 150R Expert. They have a 5-speed 150cc with a 1.1 gallon tank. The 150R has 17 and 14-inch wheels with a 32.8-inch seat height and goes for $5,400. The Expert has 2-inch bigger wheels, 34.1-inch seat height, and goes for $5,600. Both are the same price as last year. On to the 250cc motocross, we now have 2 trims. The CRF 250R has a 5-speed transmission, 37.6-inch seat height, 1.7 gallon tank, and costs $8,300, same as last year. We have a new trim on the 250 this year, the CRF 250 RWE. Basic specs are the same. It has upgraded wheels and seat, and I'm sure some other things as well. The website isn't super clear on that. This goes for $10,600. The CRF 450 RS hasn't been updated yet. The 450R and the 250s have 21 and 19-inch wheels, 1.7 gallon tank, and 37.8-inch seat height on the 450R. It goes for $9,700, same as last year. The 450 RWE again has some upgrades on it and goes for $12,600. This is up $100 from last year. That's it for motocross. We move on to the dual sports. The 150 and 300 models haven't been updated yet, so we start with the CRF 450 RL, 21 and 18-inch wheels, 2-gallon tank, 37.2-inch seat height on a 450cc 6-speed. MSRP is $10,100, up $100 from last year. Last of the updated dual sports in Part 1 is the 650L with a 644cc single-cylinder 5-speed, 37-inch seat height, and 2.8-gallon tank for $7,000, same as last year. On to the adventure bikes. First up is the NX500. I think this was new in 2024 for the US. This has a 471cc parallel twin with a 32.8-inch seat height and a 4.7-gallon tank. This goes for $7,400. The NC750 and Transalp haven't been updated yet. On to the Africa Twin. There are 4 different trims on the Africa Twin, all the same price as last year. They all have a 1083cc parallel twin engine, same engine that's on the Rebel 1100. The base model has a seat height of 34.3 inches with a low option down to 33.5 inches. 5-gallon tank on this. This goes for $14,800. The base version is available with the DCT automatic for $15,600. The Africa Twin Adventure Sport ES trim comes with a lower seat height, 33.7 inches, with a low option down to 32.9. Tank is 6.6 gallons. This goes for $17,600. The automatic DCT version goes for $18,400. Now to the street-only bikes, starting with the scooters. 3 of the 4 have been updated. The PCX typically gets updated later on. These are all the same price as last year. First up is the Metropolitan, 10-inch wheels, 1.2-gallon tank on this 49cc scooter. Price is $2,650. The Ruckus has basically the same specs, except with fat tires and without the under-seat storage. This goes for $2,900. The ADV 160 has a 157cc engine, slightly bigger tires, and a 2.1-gallon tank. This goes for $4,500. On to the mini motos. These are all 124cc single-cylinder bikes, except for the Navi. It has a slightly smaller engine. I think the challenge is how many different ways Honda can style a 124cc mini bike. Last year they had 5 versions. This year they have 6. The Navi, Trail 125, and Super Cub haven't been updated yet. So next is the Grom. 3 trims on the Grom, all the same price as last year. They all have a 30-inch seat height, 12-inch wheels, 5-speed manual, and a 1.6-gallon tank. Base model has 3 colors, goes for $3,600. The Special comes in black and goes for $3,700. The ABS comes in white and goes for $3,800. Next is the new mini bike from Honda, introducing the DAX 125. This is a 4-speed semi-automatic with a 30.6-inch seat height and a 1-gallon tank. 2 colors, this goes for $4,200. And last is the Monkey, the retro mini bike with a 30.5-inch seat height and a 1.5-gallon tank. Monkey now has inverted hydraulic front forks to help with handling. 1 color, this goes for $4,350, up $50 from last year. Continuing on to the standard bikes, only 2 of the 5 models have been updated, and both are the same price as last year. The CB300R has a 286cc single cylinder with a 31.6-inch seat height and a 2.6-gallon tank. 2 colors, price is $5,150. The CB500F has a 471cc parallel twin with a 31.1-inch seat height and a 4.5-gallon tank. Matte black is the only color. This goes for $6,900. 3 bikes in the sport category. Only 1 has been updated so far. The CBR 500R has the same specs as the CB500F we just discussed. Basically the same bike except with slightly lower handlebars and sport fairings for that sporty ride. Price is $7,400, same as last year. All 3 of the Supersport bikes have been updated. We start with the CBR 600RR, 599cc inline 4 with a 32.4-inch seat height and 4.8-gallon tank. Just 1 color, $12,200 without ABS, $13,200 with ABS. The CBR 1000RR has a 999cc inline 4 with a 32.8-inch seat height and 4.3-gallon tank. 1 color, this is up $300 from last year. Without ABS goes for $17,000. $17,300 with ABS. Last is the CBR 1000RR-R Fireblade SP. The Fireblade was not updated last year. Honda's website shows a 2023 version, skips 2024, and jumps to 2025. Like I said, they don't update each model every year. 1000cc inline 4 with a 32.7-inch seat height and a 4.4 gallon tank. Bore and stroke on this engine are the same as Honda's RC213V MotoGP bike. One color, this goes for $29,000, up $100 from 2023. Moving on to the cruisers, 4 of the 7 have been updated so far. The Rebel 300, 500, and Shadow Aero have not. Starting with the Rebel 1100, last year we had 2 trims. They have introduced a 3rd trim for 2025. The 1100s have a 1083cc parallel twin, 27.5-inch seat height, and a 3.6 gallon tank. The base model is a 6-speed manual and comes in 2 colors. Price is $9,600, up $50 from last year. The 1100 DCT comes in the same 2 colors and has a dual clutch 6-speed automatic transmission. Price is $10,300, up $150 from last year. And introducing the Rebel 1100 DCT SE Special Edition. This comes in 1 color and is more of a bobbed look with bar end mirrors, fork boots, and a special seat. Price is $11,100. The 1100T has the fork-mounted fairing and hard saddlebags. It also includes Honda Road Sync, which connects to both Android and iPhones. Otherwise, specs are the same as the 1100. 6-speed manual goes for $10,800, up $100 from last year, and the DCT goes for $11,500, up $150 from 2024 last year. Next is the Shadow Phantom ABS. In 2024, they had both ABS and non-ABS options. It looks like they have discontinued the non-ABS version. ABS is now the only one available. 745cc 5-speed V-twin with a shaft drive, 25.6-inch seat height, and a 3.9 gallon tank. This is a bobber style bike with bar end mirrors and fork boots. 2 colors, price is $8,700, same as last year. Last of the cruisers is the Honda Fury. No changes here. The 2025 model has the same ugly green and the same price of $11,500. Don't get me wrong, I like the chopper look, I want to try one, but that color's ugly. 1312cc 5-speed V-twin chopper with 26.7-inch seat height and a 3.4 gallon tank and a 71-inch wheelbase. Last of the Hondas is the Goldwing touring bikes, but none of them have been updated yet, so we'll get to those later. That is it for part 1 of Honda's 2025 updates. Stay tuned for part 2 in a month or 2. Keep watching, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. You know the drill. Catch you on the next one.